No one in the packed school gym expected what came next. Just as the demonstration ended and applause faded, Rex, the calm, disciplined police dog, suddenly stopped in his tracks. He stiffened, ears locked forward, eyes fixed on an old mural hanging above the exit. Then, without a single command, he growled and lunged. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Teachers froze. Children clutched one another. Everyone thought the dog had lost control until the painting ripped and began to fall. Behind it, something long buried stirred, and within moments, a 50-year-old secret was about to come to light. What made Rex defy a direct command wasn't disobedience, it was instinct. Trained for discipline and danger, he had never acted out. But this time, something unseen demanded his full attention. As he clawed and tore through the old mural paint and dust flew into the air, Officer Mark tried to pull him back, but paused when a faint, unmistakable chemical odor reached his nose, something that didn't belong in a school gym. Hidden behind the torn canvas was a small wooden panel slightly ajar. Mark knelt beside Rex, who now whimpered low and steady nose pressed to the seam. When he pulled it open, his heart skipped. Inside was a rusted metal box with no markings, no hinges, only a lock that hadn't been touched in decades. This wasn't forgotten storage. This was something someone never meant to be found, and Rex had just uncovered the first clue. The box looked ordinary, rusted, brittle, its latch coated in time, but what lay inside would rewrite everything they thought they knew. Officer Mark slowly lifted the lid, revealing a haunting collection of artifacts, weathered documents, yellowed photographs, folded schematics, and a pistol wrapped in oil-stained cloth. But at the very bottom was the most chilling item of all, a folder marked classified in bold fading ink. Inside were black and white photos of men in military dress, cryptic maps, and letters coded in cipher. One page read simply, "No one must ever find this. Not here." Mark exchanged stunned looks with the bomb squad and school staff. What was supposed to be a school assembly had turned into the uncovering of a Cold War-era secret buried behind children's artwork. Within hours, the FBI had arrived. The story flooded local news, then national headlines. Experts confirmed the school was once a dead drop point for American intelligence officers in the 1960s. The mural had unknowingly sealed it away until Rex tore through the past with teeth and instinct. For the town, it was a moment of reckoning. For Rex, it was just another day doing what he was trained for, finding what no one else could. News of the discovery swept across the country like wildfire. By the next morning, the once forgotten Jefferson Middle School was front-page news, no longer just a quiet community school, but now the centerpiece of a Cold War mystery. Reporters from all over arrived, in droves, their vans crowding the school's front lot, cameras rolling as curious neighbors gathered along the fences. Inside, federal agents and historians worked side by side, unearthing more hidden compartments and piecing together what was quickly becoming one of the most unexpected intelligence finds of the decade. Blueprints were pulled from walls. Microfilm was found tucked behind radiators. Every hallway seemed to echo with the whispers of a bygone era. Local residents were stunned to learn their school had been built atop a Cold War communication outpost, selected for its quiet geography and strategic distance from urban Soviet targets. The painting Rex had torn down had unknowingly covered what agents once called a dead drop, a secret location where classified information was exchanged. The mural installed decades later by an art teacher had unintentionally concealed one of the most well-preserved espionage caches in recent memory. Parents stood outside, mouths agape. Teachers wept. Some of the elderly in town, once sworn to silence, began to share stories they'd buried deep. But through it all, it was the canine officer, Rex, who became the unexpected hero. Without a word, without a warning, he had torn open a secret hidden for generations, simply because his instincts told him something didn't belong. And he was right. As more details surfaced, jaws across the town dropped in disbelief. The documents inside the hidden metal box weren't just relics, they named real people, detailed real missions, and even included personal notes from agents who had lived and worked right under the town's nose. Some of the names belonged to individuals still alive, now in their 80s and 90s. When contacted, a few confirmed everything with tear-filled eyes and trembling voices. One man, now retired in Florida, simply said, "Oh, I never thought I'd hear about Jefferson again." For the townspeople, it was like peeling back wallpaper only to find a chapter of American history beneath it. The school, once an ordinary place of lockers and lesson plans, was now hallowed ground. Parents whispered in the parking lot. Veterans saluted the building as they passed. And through it all, Rex remained at the heart of the story, a dog whose instincts had uncovered what decades of paint time and silence had hidden. Officer Daniels, his longtime handler, stood quietly at Rex's side during a town vigil, his hand resting on the dog's back. "He didn't just find a box," Daniels said softly. "He found the truth. And in doing so, he gave this town its story back." The discoveries didn't stop with the box. As investigators peeled back more layers of the old school, they found evidence that the building had once served as a fully operational covert communication hub during the height of the Cold War. Hidden antenna wiring in the attic false walls, behind a janitor's closet, and even an old steel hatch beneath the boiler room, all once part of a system meant to relay information across borders without detection. The town had unknowingly grown up atop a secret battleground of whispers and espionage. What made it all the more haunting was how ordinary everything had seemed. Parents had attended PTA meetings in the very room where secret codes were once stashed. Children played tag down hallways that once echoed with agents' footsteps. Historians and intelligence officials descended on the site, their flashlights illuminating history that textbooks had missed. And through it all stood Rex Tail, calm eyes, alert. He had exposed a story time had tried to forget, a tale hidden not in archives or libraries, but behind drywall and old paint. Officer Daniels couldn't stop repeating it. It wasn't just scent, it was purpose. Rex knew something needed to be found, and he never gave up. The revelation sent shockwaves far beyond the school walls. As national media picked up the story, the town that had once been a quiet dot on the map suddenly found itself at the heart of a Cold War mystery. Veterans reached out with memories, old agents were quietly contacted, and families who had long suspected strange things in the past finally had answers. But through it all, one name was repeated again and again: Rex. The dog who had done what no historian, no investigator, no textbook ever could. He had sniffed out a forgotten truth and brought it home. Sometimes the past hides in plain sight, waiting patiently for someone to listen, to notice, to care. Rex's discovery reminds us that truth has a way of surfacing no matter how long it's been buried. As we grow older, we carry memories others may forget, but that doesn't make them any less important. Whether it's a shared history, a long-lost story, or a hidden pain, what matters is that we honor it when it returns. And like Rex, we can all be the ones to uncover what others overlook with patience, loyalty, and a heart that never stops paying attention.